Hey everybody, hope you're having a great day. As I was going through some of my stats the other day, the analytics, whatever, showed me that quite a number of people are finding my boot videos because they're looking up Red Wing Iron Rangers. So I thought to myself, what makes Red Wing Iron Rangers so popular? Like, of all the heritage boots, they're like the first ones that come to mind. So that's kind of what I want to look into today. And, it'd be great to have you all kind of weigh in and give me your opinion on this question. So I've got my 4 pairs of Iron Rangers here. These are the Writer's Room 4331s. I've got my copper rough and toughs, my charcoal rough and toughs, and of course, my all-time favorites, the Hawthorne Mule Skinners. So what is it about these boots that, makes them rise to the top of the whole heritage boot movement? So, they're made in America. I think that's a big point. People are interested in supporting local industry, not, buying into all of the, let's move our entire manufacturing abroad and just support other governments besides our own. Takes away people's jobs. So I know I'm certainly keen on that. That to me is a big factor. Is it made in the United States? Are most of the components made in the United States? If not, which ones aren't, and why? So, all these leathers, they come from the Foot Tannery. This is the Hawthorne Mule Skinner, the rough out. And I know, in fact, I've been to the town where it's made. One of these days I want to tour the factory. I've been to the shop. But I think that's a big reason why they're popular. The design is obviously very popular. I think people want, first and foremost, a heritage boot that looks like a heritage boot, that looks like Americana, that kind of stands for the history that's behind the word heritage. And this model, there's just something about it that it just kind of yells, I'm historical at you. You could probably use these boots in a play. And, if you wanted to have some kind of retro, like Hello Dolly or something, you got some working people there or farmers, and they could have on these boots and they would look totally Jethro or whatever, So I think the style and the last of these boots is really important. I think the comfort level is important. One of the things that's really great about the Iron Rangers is the fact that it has a roomy toe box. It's not some sort of metrosexual boot, with a narrow last and a pointy toe that just makes your foot hurt. And so when you get home, you have to soak it in Epsom salts. There's a lot of room in these babies. And regardless of your foot volume, you can always, control how much room you have from here up. And that's a huge advantage. So the comfort level, I think, is unusually great with these boots. They're also extremely sturdy. So just the build of them, with the triple stitching and all that stuff, they really hold up well. The leather is high quality, so the leather holds up well. And the construction with the Goodyear welt, the 270-degree welt. Whoop, I'm just about to drop it on my camera, but that holds up well too, right? I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. And the fact that they can be recrafted. So you're investing in slow fashion. You're investing in something that's going to last a lifetime, if you want it to. So that's huge. The practicality, I think these speed hooks, they make them easy to get on off. One of the things that I learned when I was at the Red Wing store in Omaha was that the sole and the construction and the fact that the midsole is basically your cork midsole is to have a slimmer profile. And I think that contributes to the old-timey look, but it also contributes to the fashion statement that you're making, that, they're not like really super chunky or like ugly in that way, it's not like the dad shoe look. Even though these are, they have the boxier toe and stuff, they don't come off as super, like heavy, and they really do have a lower profile. So, you don't have a midsole like you'd have on the Trumans. But on the other hand, this Vibram mini lug sole is extremely hard wearing too. So that's another thing that probably contributes to the practicality of these boots is the mini lug sole that they've been using is hard wearing, but it also gives you just enough traction to where you can use it in a wide variety of environments. So it's pretty versatile. Now, I've seen people say, well, you're not going to wear it to the prom, and that's probably true. So it's not as versatile as a Viberg, maybe, for example, or something like that. So it's very casual. It's definitely a casual boot. But even that, I think I've seen guys even wear these with a blazer and try to style these in a bit more of professional kind of way. And I think you can actually do it. I don't wear blazers personally. I tend to wear hand knit sweaters. But, honestly, I can kind of see it. I can see it, especially if they're cleaned up like these guys because these are kind of new. And, I think it might look weird to wear these Hawthorne mule skinners that are all worn out with a blazer. But these, yeah, I think you could totally get away with it. So that's another factor. They're really versatile. They are hard wearing. And another thing that kind of occurred to me was just the nostalgia. And I was thinking to myself, could I find Norman Rockwell paintings that have boots that look a little bit like the Iron Rangers? Because for me personally, so I go back a ways, right? I'm no longer a spring chicken. And, we had Norman Rockwell pictures hanging up in my house back in the day. So I've kind of picked out a few images in here to kind of illustrate what I have in mind. I'd be curious if you all agree with me that nostalgia is playing a role. Might be a little bit tricky to hold these up, but here's a picture of a guy. Looks like he's fishing, I think. And obviously it's just a drawing. But his boots are incredibly worn out. Look at that. That's kind of the way my boots look, I think about an Amish farmer, and I'm like, yeah, they could have plowed the field for several years over, and their boots would look like that. Let's see here. I got a couple more. These pictures have a bully in them. Let's see if I can get this to kind of show up on there. So the bully's got some boots on. And then we see, now these are leather soles. I was thinking to myself as I was going through this big book of Norman Rockwell, it'd be cool to do an entire study of the shoes that he painted in these illustrations because they're kind of incredible. The facts of life. I like how kids are portrayed as wearing these kind of boots in a lot of these pictures. Let me see if I can find another one. Here's one, guys who've got military boots on. So it's sort of an illustration of your service boot. But look at those babies. I mean, to me, that's kind of recalling the Iron Ranger. I mean, the construction, like, look how the heel is constructed. That's just total nostalgia right there. And let's see if I can find a couple more. This is clearly on a farm, so we've got the guy here in the corner, and he's got on those boots. They're just so nostalgic. Back in the day, people, they had cobblers, and their boots were made to fit their feet, and if once you got a pair of boots, you were going to keep them for just years, and you can tell from the way these are worn that they were worn out. And sometimes the soles are worn through because maybe they couldn't afford to go to the cobbler. But I'm just thinking to myself, I think this is part of what Red Wing is shooting for. Here's another picture of a fisherman. Look at those boots. And I kind of like that association. Norman Rockwell, he was trying to, for the longest time he was working for the Saturday Evening Post, and there were certain topics that he wasn't allowed to address. But once he started painting for Look, then he could give a much broader social portrait of all the people in society, regardless of their background, which was really refreshing. And I think he's kind of a good example of the image of America. Some people associate happier times with these images. Some people don't, which makes a lot of sense. But just the, people just trying to work their way through, make a buck, make a contribution, have some self-respect, sense of community and belonging together, unions and all that good stuff, camaraderie. So I kind of feel like I'm wearing a piece of history, even when I'm wearing boots like this, maybe especially when I'm wearing boots like this, but, even when I'm wearing boots like this. And then, I think another reason why the Iron Rangers succeed so well is because of how they're marketed. So you can get these all over the world. I had a subscriber who commented that he's from Italy. He says, you can't find Wolverine 1,000 Miles in Europe. Forget it. You have to go online and just hope that there's some way that you can figure out how to get them back transported across the ocean. So Red Wing's doing something right as far as distributing their products. There are times when I wish that the boots that were available in Japan and Germany were also available here. And I get a little frustrated, but I was told recently that they're actually going to address that disparity and make sure that we Americans have access to our American boots, regardless of, the model or the leather or whatever, which I think is a good thing. So I'd be curious what you all think. Why are the Iron Rangers so popular? And do you agree with some of the points I've made? Do you have some points you want to add? For example, I'd be really curious to hear about that. And I appreciate your tuning in, and we'll talk soon. Take care. Bye.